Welcome all, this is the Runcam 5 and my short answers to should I get one and is it any good is yes. It's got great quality footage, just the right features, and the price is pretty much unbeatable. Stay tuned for an in-depth look and breakdown where I'll put it through its paces since having it the last couple of weeks. Welcome friends, so you want to know all the ins and outs of this Runcam 5. This is the newest offering from Runcam. It's another evolution in Runcam's lineup and very welcome, especially in a session form factor now that GoPro has sort of retired that. A huge thanks to Banggood as they kindly supplied it, very much appreciated, so thank you. Let's get to all the important stuff and what you get in. There is footage on the back end of this video. There's time codes in the description as well as a link and perhaps a discount coupon for you. It's pretty much identical in size to the previous Runcam 3, 3S and a GoPro session. It weighs just over 55 grams. Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Apparently replaceable, although it's not on Runcam's site yet. Probably be like just use a heat gun or a hairdryer to remove the existing one. Just stick the new one in. It'll fit all the GoPro accessories pretty much. For example, this Hot Wheel thing my son likes to use to make videos with. There you go. That is a session Hot Wheels car. Zoom in. TPU mount on this Right Seal one. 3D printed. Fits absolutely fine. It's for my Runcam 3 as well, and we also have these sort of protective jackets. All good. Okay, I love that in the box you get the camera, a nice little manual, and a couple of Velcro straps, and that's it. No excess guff. That rings true for the camera also. It's evolved from the Runcam 3 and the 3S. Of which I'm a massive fan of, into a much simpler and more focused camera I think. GON's Wi-Fi connectivity, no removable battery, and the hard shell has been replaced by a nice soft rubberized casing. Single button to operate, and an awesome sliding door. Keeps your SD card safe. It's not going to come out in a crash or anything like that, and it won't intentionally open. It takes quite a bit of force to slide it forward and backwards. There's a reset button in here also. In conjunction with a power button, you can use reset and power to hard reset it. If you put a new SD card in, you can press reset button 3 times and it will format the card. Speaking of which, you will need a UHS 3 class card to handle the 4K resolution and the higher bit rates. Make sure you get a good genuine brand one. The power and shutter button and the USB port will line up perfectly with legacy stuff like this 3D printed mount by Daniel Norrie, Barspin, or the creator of the OpenRC project, and other legacy stuff that has this functionality. So let's get to the technical specs. It'll do from 1080p all the way up to 4K resolution, 1080p 60 to 120 frames a second, 1440p 60 fps, 2.7K at 50 fps, and it'll do 4K and 30 fps. You also have a couple of XV formats, but you could consider like a super view sort of mode without GoPro's algorithm working its magic. It's a bit of a raw one. It does not have a time-lapse mode any longer, but you know, I can do without that. I've got other cameras that can do stuff like that. The normal resolutions take a 4:3 aspect ratio image from a Sony IMX sensor, and they crop the top and bottom off into a 16:9 aspect ratio, whereas the XV modes take the full sensor and sort of stretch or fill the image. You get a bit of a fisheye or fishbowl, but the added real estate, especially in 4K, gives you a great source to do some editing magic. Combine that with what's called distortion correction in the app, and you have plenty of options to find what's right for your requirements. 1440p at 60 FPS is a very happy medium with a stellar image and in both correct aspect ratio and manipulated to 16:9. Here's a quick comparison of distortion correction, disabled on the left and enabled on the right. Make what you want of it. I'll try and convey it as best I can. Okay, getting to the battery and so forth. You can charge this with a standard phone charger up to 2 amps. You can get a video out adapter for it and feed it a voltage up to 15 volts while getting the live video out, so you could go indefinitely if you got it on a long range plane or something and get good quality footage. Does it meet up to the claims of 60 minutes in 4K and 90 minutes in 1080 while recording? Well, yeah, it does in a short term, but I've put it through its paces. In 1080p, I recorded for 1 hour 25 minutes 18 seconds. It split the files into 11 minute 49 second files, size 3.72 gig, and it totaled 29.6 gig of content. It may have been a little bit under, considering that I turned it on and changed a couple of the settings before embarking on that recording. However, while recording in 4K at 30 FPS, it came out a little better than the 60 minutes, and it recorded 1 hour 6 minutes and 44 seconds, splitting them into 8-minute duration files at 3.35 gigabytes each, using a total of 28 gig of space for the whole battery. So yeah, a little bit under in my testing, a couple of minutes under for 1080 and 6 minutes over for 4K, so I think that's pretty much as claimed. Okay, moving on to the colour saturation and other little bits and bobs with the settings. The default colour is just fine, its default setting of 2, between 1, 2 and 3. Very accurate, I must say. Well, if you set the saturation to 3, it gives you a fair amount more vibrancy, much like the Runcam 3's default settings. The auto white balance is a little bit sluggish at times in very testing condition. However, the most recent firmware focuses on that apparently. I've yet to try it in a working environment, but it does seem to make a difference. I've no doubt that setting the scene to sunny or cloudy where applicable, anything but auto would pay dividends in that regard also. Okay, the audio. The mic doesn't seem as sensitive and as high fidelity as on the Runcam 3 or other cameras, but it does pick up most sounds all the same. However, for action environments and activities it works fine, and it doesn't get blown out like it does on the Runcam 3, for example. Here's what I mean. Both these clips are on default levels on the same craft. This is the Runcam 3. And this is the Runcam 5. Well, this is audio from the Runcam 3 of me talking here right this second. And this is audio of the Runcam 5 in exactly the same position. This audio is from the Runcam 5 with the levels pushed up to 0 dB. The way to set the camera up is a blessing and a curse, sadly. It's much faster and simpler than connecting with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to, like say, the Runcam 3 or a Foxeer box, by way of utilising the Runcam app. Here's the app. Runcam 5. Now we're into all the settings. There's plenty more settings in here under general. I'll put an image up on the screen for all those. But turn your Runcam 5 on. Say we want 4K 30 frames a second. Select that, hit apply, and you're presented with a QR code. 2 presses in quick succession on the power shutter button makes the LED go blue, which is in scan mode. So get your phone, point your camera at it, and there we go. gone back green and accepted the settings. It's as simple as that. It's a brilliant system, and I must admit I quite enjoy it. Now this is where I've encountered problems with this ingenious method. Credit where credit's due. Even on the screen here, mobile phone screen reflection may affect the recognition rate of the QR code. That's exactly what I've experienced. So while out flying, trying to get the camera to play nice with this mobile screen, out in the open, in a field, a real nice bright summer's day with sun and cloud also. It's almost trying to do the DJI dance, you know, looking around, shielding it and stuff. As you can imagine, trying to shade it with whatever I had there. It worked eventually, but it was a bit frustrating. However, saying that, I highly doubt that you would be swapping settings constantly like I was, in the manner I was subjecting it to, once you've settled in or focused in on what video settings you're going to be using on this, like 4K, 1080p, 120 or whatever. Once you've got that, you're not going to be wanting to change it out in the field like I was. I was changing it 20 times. So bear that in mind. One workaround might be just printing your common settings on a piece of paper. Well, I've spent a fair amount of time evaluating this, living with it and digesting everything about it. After all said and done, I don't think you can go very wrong with one. It has some very minor shortcomings that I've already explained, but all things considered, I'm happy as Larry with it. For certain, it's my go-to camera for strapping on quads and planes and everything now. Firmware updates are very easy to do. I'll show you in a video later on, and Runcam are always on top of these things. If you're thinking about getting one, get one for the price. I mean, 80 quid, you're talking under $100. You can't go wrong. Absolutely brilliant. Once again, I'd like to thank Banggood. They supplied it. Very much appreciated. Any questions about it, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And, well, happy filming. So, thanks for watching. Take care. See you later. You bully. Hey.